Morning, everybody. This is Al with Maverick Lithics. And y'all know our channel. We are artifact hunters. We hunt arrowheads. And what I'm doing now is a different video. We are finding artifacts from my youth. As you can see, it's this old house place. It's my grandmother's house. She passed away in 1999, and my uncle, he was an alcoholic. He lived in this house until 2013, and it has went down. He let it go down, and I thought it was bulldozed down, but me and my wife just happened to come through here, and I seen it, and I found the people that owned it, and asked them could I go and look for some things that my grandmother might have had, and they told me to get anything I want. But as a child, I walked up this driveway in the town. I'm sorry about the truck. But when you're a child, you know, you don't think about growing old. You think you're gonna be young forever. But you wake up, you go to sleep one night, you 10 years old, you wake up and you 62. But I played football in this yard, baseball, had many a Thanksgiving, Christmas dinners. Just a lot of fun as a youth. But the old house is the same. My step-grandfather built this house. Him and my grandmother, she had lost her husband and he had lost his wife, and then they got married and lived here. And it was a beautiful place. But you know, if you look around, nature is going to reclaim what's hers eventually. And you know, it just saddens my heart to see a beautiful place like this to get in the condition that it is. But that's what happens when you don't take care of things. But this is the old front porch here, the slab and all. There's a wrought iron post here that used to be on the corner, and there was a metal chair here, a glider in between in the window, and a chair on each side, and it had a swing off of the end of the porch. But I'm here to reclaim artifacts from my childhood, and me and my wife were here the other day, and I'll show you that when I get to the house, that some of the things that we recovered. Now there is a clock on that mantle. You can see it, it's in a glass globe. From the time that I can remember, 6 years old, that clock has never moved from that spot. It's still in the same place it was. But you can see the destruction that nature does. And I remember in the beginning I told you my uncle, the last one that lived here, was alcoholic. Well, you can see all of his beer boxes and bottles and stuff in the back. And it's just saddening to see such an old house being reclaimed by nature. But me and a guy that works for me, and my son, he's in the truck, we're gonna get a few items, and I'm gonna show you some items that me and my wife had already gotten. And I didn't think about making the video till me and Spike with Heartbreaker Relics talked about it. But this right here used to be a driveway that went to a car shed, as they called it, and my grandpa parked his truck in it. My grandma parked her car under the carport. And he was a carpenter, and I'm a carpenter too. And you can just see none of this was here. These trees or nothing. This was clean, immaculate, but nature just takes over. And it's just sad to see, you know, when you're growing up, things don't change. But then as you get older, you realize that life's not that long. Not long at all. But used to, you could just walk back here and it was clean and all, but you see all the stuff I was telling you about. But you can see right there is an old stump. There used to be a big oak tree right there. And what I'm getting at is a well house. My grandmother had a water hose from the well draped over one of the oak limbs, and during the summer we would take showers outside. The boys would go first and then the girls. But we're gonna get to this right here. This is the old back porch, and the door. This part of the house, the only part of the house is really in good shape. And it's really not in good shape, but this kitchen, the old green color, is the color that when I was a kid, it's never been painted. This is the original. And I'm gonna show y'all when I get to the house. We got the original table that sat right here. It's the old diner style table with 4 chairs. And as a kid, we sat around this table and eat, but the stove sat here, and there was what they call a tabletop water heater that sat there. Well, my wife had took a picture. My son was about 6 months old with my grandma and him sitting in a chair right here. But when she took the pictures, the water heater was there. She said, what is that? Is that a dishwasher? I said, no, that's a water heater. She said, I've never seen one. I said, well, a lot of people hadn't. But when my grandmother passed away in 1999, my uncle never did come in here. The dishes were still in the dish strainer, and there's some in the sink. Her shampoo and all was still in the window, and her medicine and stuff was still in the cabinet. And me and my wife, like I said, I'm gonna show y'all some things that we had recovered up in this cabinet. Her fine china was in here. We got it, and I'm gonna go back through and look for some other stuff, because we didn't find everything that was supposed to be with the set. Plus we got other items, but it's just like it was years ago when I was a kid. And I'm gonna recover all of her pressure cookers, and you got a lid here that goes with it, and there's another lid right there that goes with the set. There's just a bunch of items that we couldn't get. We didn't have enough room in the truck. And this was my grandpa's old thermos, and this is an old electric iron and a mixer from the 60s it had never even been taken out of the box. And we got some other vintage stuff, an 8-track tape for the younger generation that's never seen nothing like that. As Spike said, he had a good taste in music, Johnny Paycheck. But this is the old pantry room, and there's still some items in here that I'm going to recover some antique stuff that these younger people has never seen. We have just so much stuff. It's hard to explain it all, but you have, this is an old door latch, and you got another old door latch. But there's just numerous items in here that I'm gonna try and recover. I might not get all of them, but I'm gonna give it a shot as to what I can get. But this was the kitchen. In this room here, as I was telling you, my uncle was an alcoholic. You can see what he did with all of his trash. He didn't care. And there's actually one case of full case of beer. I guess he died before he could drink it, but he died somewhere in the house here. I don't know exactly where, but I'm gonna walk. This, like I say, this is a formal dining room, and for back in the 40s, this was a nice house. But now, nature is reclaiming. It's just, you know, you can see the destruction. All the floors is gone except for the kitchen floor. And I was stepping right here, and you can see the floor is about gone here. And I was showing you from the inside. I was showing you the inside from the outside, but this is the inside, and I'm trying to be very careful. There's a lot of rattlesnakes, and that, my uncle's graduation picture that was left on the wall. There's an old mantle that my grandpa had built. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna recover the clock. But for you younger generation, laying here in the floor, I remember using these when I was a kid. This is the Encyclopedia Britannica. This was our Google, where y'all can just hit a button and research it. We had to go through these books and get the information we needed. But it's kind of dangerous in here because the ceiling's about to fall in. But just like that old door over there, there's nothing wrong with that door, and we're gonna get it. There's just, and I'll probably, I'm sorry, I'm having to move around. I'll probably get this old door. It don't look to be too bad a shape. But this was my uncle's bedroom. But you can see the floor is completely gone. I'm standing up here on the beam that's holding the house up, probably. And I'm gonna step down in here. And the other day when I was in here, it's even still got his clothes in the closet, which you can see the floor is gone out of the closet. But I was in here and I was looking to see about some pictures, and I found this picture from 71 is when my oldest brother had graduated, and he's passed on. He passed on in 2001. And I'm gonna take this, and there's just a bunch of other artifacts in here that we gonna look at and get. And I'll get back with y'all on, you know, some stuff that we find. I'm gonna show y'all a picture of the table and chairs and the dishes that we found. That's my son Will. Y'all remember him. But it's just a lot of stuff in here that's gonna, and they gonna bulldoze the house down, which, you know, it's time for it. But I just thought I'd do a little short video on recovering the past from my childhood. You know, you younger people just don't understand, you know, that once it's gone, it's gone. There's no bringing it back. And if my grandkids don't have nothing to remember my grandparents from, it's wasted cause of doing these, of not doing this, because it's a treasure. I know it looks bad and all, but that's where you find your most fond memories, is from your childhood. You can't bring them back. All you have is the memories. And like I say, we're gonna get over here and get to work, and I'll get back with y'all when I video the stuff that me and my wife had already gotten out of here. And we'll get back in a little while. Thank you. Oh, and a while ago when I was in the kitchen, I failed to show y'all this. This is one of the most important things. But when this house was built, it didn't have electricity. And they had the well out there, and wood burning stove for heat in the kitchen and for cooking. And it still has the old metal plate which says Laurel, Mississippi, and I can't read anything else on it, but we're gonna recover that plate because you just don't see them no more. And I just wanted to bring that to you. And there is some kind of, there's a Bible. This is a Bible, and I don't know if it was my grandmother's or what. I'm pretty sure it was, so we're gonna recover that too. People, I'm back. I was gonna show you the table that was in my grandmother's house, and the chairs. My wife has one of the chairs. She's looking at some fabric to get to redo them. But the table we're not gonna redo, but this end of the table is worn, and we're gonna clean it up and all. But this area right here that's worn, this is where my grandma used to sit. And we have a bunch of other stuff. And I know this is not an artifact show, but I'm gonna show y'all some artifacts that I done several years ago. I put them in my concrete pad that we built to set the steps on. And some of these points is points that people would put in a case. And I have artifacts, pottery, church, TQ, all kinds of stuff there. And down here, I have artifacts, broke points, blades, scrapers. I have artifacts up here, oyster shell that come out of the big creek that we hunt in. And then, but down here is just some of the stuff that I recovered. As you can tell the use on it as to how much my grandmother used as to the grease. And this was her set of pressure cookers and one boiler. And there's numerous dishes. My wife has started cleaning this wheat design. looks different when it's cleaned up. It's kind of gold, the wheat is on them. But they've been in that house, and we've just got all assortment of artifacts. Now this sugar bowl, I had gotten many a spoonful of sugar out of that bowl, and it used to have a salt and pepper shaker with it, but we couldn't find that. And her canisters, she kept cornmeal in this one, lard in this one, I think, and bacon grease in this one. And we have my grandpa's old thermos, which is a well-made one. And back here, most people wouldn't even know what that was when they seen it. They would think it was some kind of radio. But when you turn it around to the side, you see that slot? If y'all bear with me just a second, I'll show you exactly what that slot is for. I showed you earlier in the video when I was in my grandmother's house. But y'all see that 8-track cassette? I'm not going to stick it all the way in there, but that's where it used to fit, and you would have speakers, or you could just use that. I found a mixer that's never even been used. It's still in the box. We have my grandpa's shoe shining box. He had 2 of them. And this little item right here, most people don't know what they're for. But for you younger people, or people that's never done any canning or putting vegetables up out of the garden, this was used to go around the top when it was hot. You'd stick it down on there and squeeze it and pick it up. I have an old porcelain pan, a red and white one, and I got a kind of a bluish gray one. An old wedge of my grandpa that he used to put in his axes and all. But one of the most important things that I found, it was something of my grandmother. Y'all bear with me just a second and I'll get it out. Was her first pair of glasses. They're from the 40s or 50s. I'm not exactly sure, but that's a treasure in itself. In this picture is a high school graduation picture, and it was from 70 and 71. And my brother graduated then. And let me see here. Where is he at? He is right there. We're actually half brothers. But a rolling pin that had never been used, a maul, files, just all assortment of stuff. And here's another real treasure. These are so hard to come by. Was these set on my grandmother's front porch, if y'all remember the old ones, and it had a glider that matched these two, and one set on each end of the glider, but the glider's gone, and this particular one set on the corner of the porch by a wrought iron post, and you can see where the rain blowed in on it and just rusted it pretty heavy. But I'm gonna redo these two for sure, and I'll fix that one. But I remember they used to be red, and I can see it's probably hard, but it's red. I remember them used to be red with white handle. But you never know what you'll find. And you young people need to learn, you know, these things are hard to come by. And I found this in the cabinet, but this right here is the old butter churn. It's wore down on all the corners, and this is the top to the churn and the handle, but this is old flour sack that it was wrapped in. Now I know what happened to the churn. My grandma used to like to make wine, and she had wine curing in the churn, but she accidentally put too much yeast in there, and the poor old churn couldn't stand up to the pressure, and it blew up. And this is two of my grandpa's framing squares, and this was old garden duster here, but they outlawed the stuff that used to go in them to dust your beans and tomatoes and whatever crop you dusted in the field. But I'm using this as an educational video for the generation that we produce, because they have no idea about the memories yet. And like I said earlier in the video, you'll go to bed one morning 10 years old and wake up 62, 70, and you're gonna wonder where all the years went. But just take this information and find some relics of your past and enjoy them, because you'll, just like the sugar bowl over here, you'll have fond memories of sitting down at your grandmother's table and enjoying coffee or Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner. And I know I'm just babbling on, but that's just the way I feel, and that's what's coming out of my heart. And I hope you people enjoy this. And leave a good comment or a bad comment, it doesn't matter, but we'll try to answer all of them. And I thank you for your time, and share it with your friends, and that way the younger generation will get to know what they need to do. And thank you, and have a blessed day. Well, I'm back. We went through and got the stuff that we was gonna get, and I'm just saying farewell to my grandparents' old place. It won't be long and they'll bulldoze it down.